Beauties, I'm here this evening with the fabulous Antonia, co-founder of Okiki Skincare. Now, if you haven't tried Okiki Skincare, by the end of this interview, you will, because it's a truly fabulous brand. And as you know, one of my passions is female founders. And this particular brand is co-founded by a mother and daughter team, which I find quite fascinating. And we're going to dig deep and find out if there's anything stressful or difficult about that, but let's get started. Antonia, welcome.
Hey, so lovely to be here, Denise.
Really great to have you. And thank you for making the time out of your busy schedule.
Oh, no worries at all.
So let's get started. Antonia, what inspired the creation of Okiki?
So Okiki Skincare was really inspired by my mum. My grandma passed away, and one of the things my grandma used to do was make soaps back in Lagos. And a couple of years after her passing, my mum just suddenly decided she wanted to start making soaps. And so that was really the foundation. It was a way for my mum to connect to my late grandma. And she was doing really well. And now, just here and there experimental. And the catalyst really came along where I had bad acne. I had really, really bad acne as a teenager. I'd done all the 3-step systems. I'd gone to Harley Medical Street. And I could not get rid of the spots. So my mum said, I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to make your soap. I was like, okay. She made me the soap. Left it by my bathroom. I was like, what does she know that Clinique does not know? And I started using it and my face cleared up.
Wow.
And every day since, I use it. My boyfriend uses it. I preach Lolu facial soap because it changed my life. And it also, for me, was when I said, oh, Mom, you're definitely onto something. Like, you're definitely onto it. And so, we really started to push Okiki more. And that was really the origination of Okiki.
Okay, so it started with a personal need, your skin, your doubt of kind of like, okay, Mom, whatever, to your sort of, oh, Mom, wow.
Yeah, I definitely had it sitting in the bathroom for a while. Like, I'll use it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I had to use it. And I was like, oh, my spots are gone. And I was like, how? She's like, oh, I've looked online, I researched this and that. And I was like, okay. Right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So when did the journey begin?
So the journey really began back in 2016.
Okay.
For Okiki. It was very much market-based. I remember occasionally driving from London, because I live in London, Mum lives in Ashford, and going to markets in Kent and just helping Mum sell. And then she started to venture more into London and she'd pick me up. And because I had a sales background, and by that I mean at uni I worked at Victoria's Secret, so I was used to, understanding people. And my mum's a bit more of an introvert. She would make the products, she'd do the table, and then she'd be like, okay, I'm off now. And I would help her sell. And it was really interesting because immediately I was like, why are we pricing your products this low? They're good quality. Like, I know we're going to price it like this and we're going to see. And my mum would be like, oh, I don't really know. She'd go off. I'd always tell her, no, go get some coffee. She'd come back. I'd make sales. She'd go, oh, you're on something. Okay, I'll leave it to you then. So it just became a little thing where she'd make the products. I'd come and I'd sell, and I might be like, I'm not really happy with this packaging or what we're doing here. Do you need me to review the products? Because we're both dyslexic. And so between us, we manage sort of how do we get the spelling right for stuff. That was really the initial journey. And then the major transformation came at the beginning of COVID. So I got made redundant. We were both doing this part-time. I got made redundant. And I don't like being idle. I'm very much my mother's child. And I decided to build this website. My mum is, she has immune systems, like she's asthmatic, so she could not get COVID. And I knew she couldn't go to a market. Therefore, we need a website, and we still need to make sales because she's had all these products. Soaps take so long to make. And it just happened to be right before, George Floyd, Black Square Summer, when people realized there were Black businesses out there, and the business just did really well. And we started getting repeat customers. People started to get our name was out there. We were getting press article after press article. And that was it. That was the catalyst for Okiki transforming from really a market store business to an online thriving e-commerce business.
Amazing. I mean, I have to say, I think the first time I discovered Okiki must have been not last year, but the year before. and I ordered some of your fantastic soaps, and I think I tried about 3 or 4 of them, and I was like, wow, these soaps are gorgeous, fantastic scents, and I love the fact that each one has a particular use for a
Yeah,
particular skin type, which I thought was really impressive.
yeah.
Um, and that's when
My,
I became an Okiki fan.
my mom spends hours and hours researching ingredients, how they work with this ingredient, and how it combines together, and this is why it's good. And she also comes up with quirky like like mixtures of soaps that
Mhm.
I'm a bit like, huh. So we're actually releasing one that's called green tea and Japanese cherry.
Mm.
Like, how did you come up with that? She's like, I just like the colors, and I thought this goes well with this, and it comes, and it's amazing. So I'm so glad you like our soaps. I like them. I currently have Lolu, obviously, and whiskey, honey, and sweet orange on the go.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things I love, it actually is also your new packaging, because it was like suddenly everything changed. What brought that about?
For me, it was really just bringing our packaging to the standard of our product. I guess when you're market store based, you get to interact with your customers and you can see the inside of your product more easily. But when you're e-commerce, everything matters.
Yeah,
And I really wanted to also kind of bring in that eco-friendly ethos we have. We're part of One Tree Planted. So how do we transform that into our packaging for a small business so it's
yeah,
affordable but it makes sense? So it was little things like, let's get glass packaging where we can.
yeah,
Our candle tubes are not only recyclable, but they're actually upcyclable. So you can actually peel off the label. I've got cotton pads in mine.
yeah.
The soap boxes are just a bit more wrapped around, and that's mainly because with labels, you never get them straight. And you never notice until you step back and you're like, it's crooked, isn't it? So my best friend is actually a designer. He's a
Hmm.
graphic designer, and he helped us with the design. So he spent his time. Timmy, I have to give him a shout out. He completely helped us create this all. He's also Nigerian too, so I like to think it's an ecosystem.
Yeah, fantastic. Ah, very cool. So how did you talked about the pandemic? So is it fair to say that the pandemic helped your brand to grow?
Yes, I think it was a pandemic, and for want of a better word, that summer where people suddenly said, okay, let's actually give Black brands acknowledgement. It was almost like, I always call it luck. We had just launched our website, and the first month we launched our website, we made 2 sales, and they were both my friends. And then the next month, we completely sold out of our inventory because it was just kind of like a massive change, and we just happened to be, ready online.
Hmm. Okay. And do you still feel the impact of that summer, the summer of 2020? Are you still feeling that impact? Has it continued to grow?
So Okiki has continued to grow. We recently partnered with Gymshark Class in October for their Black History Month, and we have various wholesalers at the moment. However, that sort of momentum that you got over the summer, that died down very quickly. And I
Mm,
anticipated it. I always said from the get-go with my mum, this is a trend. And once this trend ends, we need to be in a position where we're not relying on the trend. And maybe that's because I'm a bit more cynical, but I was
mhm.
aware that this was, people needed to show that they cared at the time. Until there's another reason, I think, Okiki's at a point where we do get included in PRs, but we're not getting the same amount of traction as before.
Right. Okay. Yes, because there's a lot of debate about whether that summer of 20, whether the black squares were just black squares and people sort of feeling as though they had to say something positive and support brands, or
Yeah,
whether it's been sustained. And I think depending on who you speak to, you get a different perspective.
I definitely say it's a combination. We're not at that point where, we have to shut down and Okiki's no longer, because we actually ended up getting some loyal customers, and people come again. And there's one guy who comes in every month. He always buys gin and tonic lotion. There are a few people, over the time that they've hit 20, 30 sales. So we're definitely still at the point where we've got customer loyalty. It's just,
Yes.
I guess, when you're looking at, there were days I'd wake up and we've sold out because there's been a press article on,
Hmm.
a stylist or something. We don't have the same impact, but that's also because people are outside. So they're looking at the articles, and skincare isn't as needed because maybe they're going on holiday. So I'm aware it's many different things, but the momentum has definitely died down.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think for sure I think your brand has longevity because the fact that your products are made with heart really shows, and they're good quality products, and the price point is attainable for sustainable repeat buying.
Yeah,
So yeah,
no,
yeah.
for sure. I think that was something that, took a while, because something that I think what's different if you start off as a business and you kind of say, I want to make soaps, and the reason why I want to make soaps is I want to give it to everyone, you look at your price and you kind of work it out. My mum started Okiki because she wanted to reconnect with her mum. So it wasn't like, I want to sell and this is the cost. So really for us, we almost had to kind of looked up and said, have we got the pricing right? Have we got the structure right? Because honestly, it feels my mom. She just loves giving things, and and so that took a real long time for us to get that price point up. And we were like, okay, it's so affordable for the type of customers we want, and it lasts long. Like a soap bar, a lolly soap bar for me, I use it twice a day. It will last me 6 weeks. So actually, when you start breaking it down cost wise, it's a really good
Yeah.
like pence per use. And
Yeah.
then my mum, when it comes to Okiki and just making products, she just loves it. And it genuinely makes me smile so much, because if you call my mum, she's talking about a new product. She's testing a new product. And even if it's like, we're not going to launch it in 5 years, she's already tested it. There's a room spray that we'll be launching later on in the year. She was testing it like 2 years ago.
Okay.
and she's like, oh, it helps me. I've given it to my friend. It's helping them sleep and this. So it's lovely that you can see that passion, because she puts her heart and soul and body into it. And I feel like I just come down the end and go, oh, look, I've made it pretty.
So tell me, because you obviously there's a lot of love between you and your mom. So okay, you've gone into business together. What have you learned about each other that might have surprised you? Well, your mom's not here to tell us her side of the thing, but what's
I would
yours?
100% say is that we are alike. I look like my mom, and as when she was younger, she likes to say that it's not true, but if you see photos, we're basically the same faces. So we're very much alike in our dedication when it comes to wanting to do good and wanting to respond good. So I think that has been really interesting, because sometimes she'll come up with her dinner. I just was thinking that, amazing. And then also she's quite stubborn. She'll say that, but then she'll say, I'm quite stubborn. So it's always, she always says it's who's willing to give out on what tends to be the thing. But I think for me, this entire journey has shown me how much for us to kind of work as both a mother and daughter, and then be a business partner, is that relationship, how strong the foundation of our bond is. Because sometimes it does get quite difficult, it's anything from we've suddenly sold out of a product and we haven't made anything and it takes a month to make, or supply chain crisis, or customers, how do we deal with the feedback? And sometimes you need to be on the same place and you need to accept where you're wrong, but still maintain that bond, and for us,
Yeah.
it's worked.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is the future. You guys are going to continue working together and just growing bigger and better with every passing week, month, year.
Yes, that's the aim.
With more and more fantastic products.
But obviously more products are coming on board, and I think for my mum, it's just like, how big can Okiki get? She wants Okiki to be, I guess, the next we see it's the next like Lush, but ours. So she's definitely like, what can we do more? What do people love? Constantly reviewing, looking at competitors, products, new suppliers, everything. Like, she was the one who suggested we would be cruelty-free, Leap and Bunny certified, and that was quite an arduous process.
Yeah.
Only to discover at the end, when I was doing some analysis, we're one of only a handful of Black-owned Leap and Bunny certified businesses in the UK.
Yeah.
So she comes up with all these ideas, and sometimes I'm like,
Well, that's amazing. So congratulations on that. That's really good.
Thank you.
So what is I mean, apart from the lolly soap, clearly, What other product is your favorite from? Because you've got quite a nice range. So anything in particular?
Yeah, of course. So for me, I can almost break it down by categories. When it comes to soaps, Lolly facial soap. I
Hmm.
really like the whiskey, honey, and sweet orange soap. And
Hmm.
it's funny because I'm actually allergic to alcohol. And I remember when she first made the soap, she came in, went to a market, she comes, she walks out the stage, she's like, smell it. I'm like, I want to smell it. What is it? It's like, smell it. Puts it in my face. I'm like, interesting. She's like, it's whiskey, honey, and sweet. I was like, but it's a really nice for me. It helps me get to sleep. It's a lovely scent. And then the jade face mask.
Okay.
That's used once a week. I really love it. It's like just gentle for my face. It doesn't strip it. And I'm all at the moment about letting my natural oils do their thing. So I find that
Hmm.
it's like quite good for the balancing. Oat and chamomile lotion. And then my favorite candle at the moment. It's not the Nana Sour, which I know is quite popular with our customers. It's actually the Bamidele candle. That's actually named after me, so maybe that's part of the reason. I don't know. But like I actually have it here. I was gonna light it, but my lighter was working. The Bamidele candle. It just smells so nice. I've got hay
So
fever.
what are the notes in it? What are the fragrance notes in that one?
So it smells, for me, the best way to describe it is it smells like a rose garden in spring without the hay fever payoff. So
Oh,
because I've got hay fever, so it just
oh,
smells
me too.
the best.
Major.
It's like ice water and everything. And
Oh, yeah,
this,
completely.
so you understand the struggles, right? You can
I
never
do.
enjoy a good bouquet of flowers. And this literally smells like roses with a bill of lily, and then it has like a citrusy note.
Oh, wow.
And and it's quite a heavy scent. So I only light it for a couple of hours and it just fills the room. Oh, it's lovely.
Amazing.
It's absolutely lovely. I have it, so I'm currently in Guernsey at the moment. And I have it one here and then I have one back at home.
Amazing. I love candles. I think I burn candles every single day. Um, as soon as I get in from work, from the office, I light a candle.
Uh,
Um, my lounge, I love fragrance. I'm a fragrance addict.
I'm gonna have to
So
send you one. I'm gonna have to send you one. My boyfriend also got into candles, which got into our candles, and he was buying them. And I would, wake up 5:30 in the morning. There's a candle. I'm like, fine. Come back from work. He's got the candle. It's still lit. I'm like, that's not how they work. This is why we're going through a candle a week, if not less. It's like, I know, they're just so nice. And he's bought every single one of our candles.
wow,
And I had to actually at one point put a ban on it because I was like, actually, it's a lot. It's a lot of candles going on. But yeah.
yeah, amazing. Well, that's good. That sounds like maybe not number one fan, but maybe number two fan, because obviously you're number one fan.
I'm obviously number one, correct? Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
But no, he's
yeah.
definitely a number two fan. I think it's very weird because there's misconception that like men don't like candles or fragrances or whatever it may be. But I have never seen someone enjoy a candle as much as he does. He sits and talks about the notes and how, one is good for the room because it's quite heavy, and the other one maybe you need to open the windows to get some air into it and then help it spread. He knows more probably about our candles than
Wow.
I do. He spends his time on it.
So for him, is that, I mean, apart from obviously loving the fragrances, is it part of his sort of well-being
Oh,
ritual?
it's definitely part of his well-being ritual. Even if I'm not there, he's got a candle lit. And I remember, as I mentioned, I'm currently in Guernsey, coming back and he just ordered himself some more fire candles and he just had them there. They just smell nice. I just like having them whilst I'm working. It's like, okay. Because they've got the
Amazing.
classic woodwick, so they're quite nice as a background sound as well, I
Yes.
find. So yeah, and he loves it.
Oh, I'm gonna get online and order some of your candles and give them away as gifts as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, because that sounds amazing. So well-being. Let's talk about well-being because that's very much a buzzword at the moment. And as you know, Wow Beauty, we're all about sort of beauty and
Oh,
well-being,
yeah.
um, especially the well-being side of things, because it's just I just think it's so important. So what would you say are your biggest well-being practices?
So for me, every Friday, I do a bubble bath. I use the Lolu. basically any product that has my name, I'm probably going to use it. So I use the I use the Lolly bath. So I'll put my phone away because I'm someone who's always on my phone. If I'm not in Okiki emails, my personal emails from social media, and I'm looking at sales, is anyone online, and it can be overwhelming. So sometimes I put my phone away, put the iPad on. I like Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. I'll probably put an old Doctor Who series on, get the candle, cup of tea, and I'll just sit in the bathtub for a good couple of hours. For me, that is like almost my weekly ritual when it comes to self-care. And then just generally it's get a walk in, sometimes to clear your head, and then have weekends. And I do it with my mum too. We have weekends where we do nothing. And that's very
Amazing.
hard when you're running a business because you
Yeah.
want to do an order or we're running off this product. But I have weekends where it's like, just don't even, turn off my phone, and I'll probably, read a book or something. And it's just to clear your head. And we try to get that done every quarter. And my mum loves it. She'll just say, I'm going offline. I'll say I'm going offline. And I think that helps.
That's fantastic. Do you think that your well-being practices changed or evolved over the past couple of years with the coronavirus and all that's come with it?
I would say yes, because I never took care of my well-being. I guess when I was working corporate, and I still am, but prior to that, I was very much like my heart, soul, body belongs to this company. And it's not healthy, but, I guess it was just something that I developed over time. I hadn't realized. So you carry your stress Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and back again on Monday. So you don't actually give your time, break. If I made a mistake, that mistake was carrying me, even if it was a spelling error in an email. And
Yeah.
that's not healthy. So I think in a way, getting made redundant helped because, the focus wasn't corporate, it was my mom's business. And if I did make a mistake, it was on me, but I actually saw the real impact on a business. So, that email's a spelling error. No one's gonna, I'm not gonna hurt someone from that if I receive an email that has spelling error, and likewise. And so even when I found a job back in corporate, it enabled me to be able to step back and take control over, okay, what am I going to carry home? What am I not? And that completely transformed my well-being, because I even have times where I'm not going to talk about my job. I'm not going to carry that home at all. So I think it really helped me evolve. And even with my mum, because when I got made redundant, first thing I did was move back home. And so I was able to see how she works. And that enabled me to say, okay, look, you need to slow down now and again. Sometimes it's okay if we don't have it, because there'll be times, especially when it was so busy, that maybe we completely sold out of the cream. And she'd be like, I'll make the cream tonight. Our creams, because they're handmade, can take 6 hours to make, because there's a lot of, boiling and this and that. Sometimes be like, look, I'll email that customer that it's not going to be, we're not able to fulfill it within what we've said we will. Go to sleep. You're dead on your feet. And so I think me being there, it also enabled my mum to recognize that her well-being comes first. And I always tell her, she'll tell you this if she was on a call, I say, you come first, not Okiki. If at any point I feel like you're taking your well-being over Okiki, I'm shutting it all down. And so she also understands that when it comes to priorities, it's not the business, it's her.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think that's really important because it is really about balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Because she's the sort of person that might do 2 markets back to back, but because she's diabetic, maybe she needs to have a nap because she's on her feet or it's cold,
Sure.
and she won't.
Yeah.
And so I'll say, I'll go to the market, you go have your nap. And sometimes you can tell she's a bit like, when you get older and you become the parent, you don't want to have the nap. And I have to be like, Mum, go have your nap now, or we're not doing this market again. So then she'll have her nap and she comes back a lot more fresh. And also for me, I'm like, okay, that's good. Like I like the fact that she is now better.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it takes the pressure off of you because now you're feeling released and relieved knowing that she's in a better place.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys, so you have Leaping Bunny accreditation. You've got everything is natural, organic, some of it. So how important is that to you as a brand?
Natural products, so important. My mum really spends her time going, okay, how can we make this natural? How can we make it better? And I'll be honest, we make mistakes here and there, and that's because there are some things that where my mum, again, we made this for grandma, as opposed to like making business. It's things like, okay, we need to maybe look at our balms and the recipe for our balms, because we use beeswax and we want to be more vegan friendly. That takes time because my mum formulates everything. Like, we don't, nothing is pre-made. So what we're going to do? But there's definitely a focus on how can we keep it natural? How can we keep it better for everyone? What ingredients work? That's like my mom's entire remit. But then we also think about the consequences. So at one point we used to have palm oils on our soap because back home, that's how my grandma used to make it. But I sat down with my mum and I just said, look, palm oil isn't as environmentally friendly. And she had done her research. And we just agreed that at this point in time, palm oil isn't everything, right? And so there is no environmentally friendly way to make it. Even if you can get certified, it's so we don't have palm oil in any of our products. So when I looked at the packaging for our candle boxes, for example, the lid, we made sure it was bamboo lid, because that only takes 3 months for a bamboo tree to kind of grow. So it's somewhat more replaceable. And also overall, the tube is more durable. So if people do want to upcycle it, they can. At the same time, it's a good recycling product. So we definitely try to think about what can we do to make everything better for the environment, but also acknowledging we're a small business and not everything can be, perfect.
Yeah, I was just about to say, because I mean, there's a lot of pressure on brands, big and small, to be more sustainable, and with packaging, with their ingredients. And I think for a lot of for a lot of brands, that feels like a lot of pressure, and it can be quite expensive as
Oh,
well.
yeah, no, I would agree, because I think what isn't talked about a lot is that startup cost for small business. Maybe it's easy if you've got some, institutional investors, angel investors, but if you're just, the average person who's kind of funding it yourself, it's a lot to begin with. So then when you start thinking about glass packaging or sustainable packaging, they come at an enhanced cost, and they come at a higher minimum order quantity. And so if you're not selling 10,000, a month, that's quite a lot to switch over to a glass bottle that, you might sell 3 or 4 a month. So there's a lot of thinking on cost. How can you be sustainable, but it be cost effective for you and the customer? Because if you raise your prices too high, as you mentioned, that Okiki's in a good price point, some people might walk away. And so it's trying to manage everything at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's always a balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're slowly doing it. We've got the glass packaging for our bath salts, glass packaging for our face cream, candles fully recyclable. I mean, soap just disappears when you use it, right? When it's finished, it's finished. I think the only thing we have left is our lotion bottles, but that's going to take a while, because that's where that minimum order quantity comes in to get the glass tubes. Well, my mum's constantly looking on it.
Yeah, fantastic. So, you've talked a lot about your Yoruba origins, and I'm curious, in terms of the products and the ingredients that you use in the products, how much of an influence has your West African roots got on the products?
I would definitely say, if you look at our candles, my mum is all over it. And I say that because not only are the names Ghanaian, and the names for the calendar Ghanaian and Yoruba, but I think the scents they're almost different. For me, I've smelled a lot of candles. Names come with a standard, like an English pen, here's this. But my mum really tries to infuse the culture in a way that it's almost hard to describe what they smell like. So when you ask me, what does Bambi Deli smell like? I'm like, it's a floral garden. I think that cultural infusion of the richness and the Nigerian and the Ghanaian are just trying to get like an amalgamation of this rich heritage into the scent. And when you again look at the candles, we also translate what the name means so people can understand that. Like, what I love about my culture is that names have rich meanings, and so we've definitely tried to show that in our products. And then when you look generally just across the range, my mum definitely tries to go for ingredients that are kind of reminiscent to what we'd get back home: shea butter, cocoa butter, coconut oil, mango butter. So we definitely try to also make sure our ingredients kind of reminisce to a degree what we would have in soaps back home. So it's kind of everywhere. And then I think it's just like you have a Nigerian and Ghanaian woman making a pot that's in itself, you know, so where she can, she infuses her culture. Like I actually, when you look at the lotions and the bath salts, if you see the labels, I didn't come up with that. My mum did. She said, that's the pattern I want. And that in itself has kind of like cultural, you know, it's like a cultural kind of pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and like the candle tubes, it has like hente, typical colors of hente fabrics. So my mum, for her, she's like, I'm proud. Everybody's gonna know.
Amazing. I love that. So tell me, what's next for Okiki?
I just think bigger, better, more. We already did our candle gift sets. Let me just show you. Me.
Oh wow.
Okay, it disappeared. It's fine.
It's quite big. How many are in there? Like 3?
You can fit 3 candles in there. I've got one out. This is the floral range.
Okay.
It's not going to show. Maybe I'll just send the pictures for that.
Yeah.
That for us is where Okiki want to go. We want to, for me, I'm like, there's 2 markets I want to dominate. I want us to be almost like Joe Malone level when it comes to candles. People go, I want a candle, Joe Malone. I want them to go, I want a candle, Okiki, right? So that's where the packaging comes into effect. That, you know, the candle sets are big, they're massive.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so that's the aim, household name. I want this to be a household name.
Yeah. Fabulous. Any set time frame for this? Do we need to be?
I say, give us 5 years.
Okay.
Give us 5 years. Between my mum's determination and passion and my will to get there, we are going to get there. People already know Kiki. They know our scent. Things are opening up, so we'll be doing more markets. My mum will never give up markets. One thing she loves, and I think she generally hated about COVID, was she could not interact with her customers. She loves it. So you're going to see us all over the place. She's already thinking about trade shows. We're going to definitely try and get into some stores. I think Okiki has something for everyone. Mm-hmm. And so just allowing people to discover what's for them is where we want to get to.
Amazing. It's been so inspiring listening to you and talking to you about Okiki. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
And we will do as much as we can to support the brand and to shout about it on Wow Beauty. So yeah, onwards and upwards.
Thank you. If you want to try one of our candles, I'm more than happy to send you the Bamidele candle.
Okay, well we'll talk about that because I'm planning to try every single one of your candles. So if you send me one, then I'll buy the others because everyone I know is a candle addict. So I've got a lot of people to sort of share the love with.
Yeah, and we are thinking about, you know, maybe next year or later on in a year doing some sort of event and trying to work out what that is because the range is already so extensive. I always tell mum, no one's going to believe you make it yourself. She's like, but why? I do. And I'm like, no, you've got so many products. No one's. So we want to like work out where we're going to focus and what sort of event. So we're thinking maybe, you know, during autumn having a candle event, and I think it'll be quite good to have just something where people come in and they interact with our candles. It's just working out what that is.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good actually. That sounds really good. Later this year would be amazing.
Yeah, because things are opening up right now too. So people want to get out and about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
She'll
Well,
probably cook. She used to be a caterer, so she'll probably cook. My mom's done everything. It's amazing.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to these events.
Yeah.
Good food and candles. Perfect combination.
Yes. That's also why I like to go home sometimes because I get a candles and she'll make me food. I get my sleep. More. It's amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. Antonia, thank you so much. And we'll speak soon.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
All right. You take care.
Have a lovely evening. Bye.
Thank you.